Order for Yankasi Mammy Gertrude Torkornoo, Chelsea Yinifi Akonyaso as a Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana, a Justice for Bafo Boni, the Cia Akonyaso as new Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana. Order for Yama Messi on Gina Home Cry, see the Ninsem Ayedeja, Ejebo, Eja Enya Baby, Yama made the case no assigned a court view. The chairman of Casano, Attorney General, so case in the order appeals court. Yes, Yama Meno, yes, or the Faha, na Chess Attorney General, so they are fired the Shan, or the Faha Nagan of Abansu, and they are fired the Shan. You say, Usha, baby, behind my medical case, Mefabiano, Chess NDC 4, Attorney General, and NDC 4 executives, Ninano. Almost my crowd say the BIM medical case Fabiano, almost Omobedinichi, na chess defend the Constitution of Ghana, on person which says a quite normal in the fast with the our Constitution, boom brano say, yeah, mamma, see that be boom brano so, and yes, and a Constitution, it's almost a BIA, yeah, my medical case could be almost Bedinichi, no matter could defend it, not just a decision no may taking it there, day I am or Bagacotina Fiorofo, Umanko, na you could see some my echoes concerning, I am saying, Mammy, get to Torkornoo, any removal, no, and then a dismissal, no, and the embassy say, I'm gonna choose so.
Bitter debate. I think we settled it last week on this same platform. You know, so there isn't much to. But then again, you mentioned that this move of judicial review, in your view, based on at least the references of the law that you indicate, the Attorney General's decision to seek interpretation will bring some finality to this. Is it on the same track?
Absolutely. Look, there was a release from her camp, and one caution struck me, and I think I just want to read it. It's very short. It says, if someone wants to destroy the work of a judge of significant repute of many decades and her accomplishments, the least that should be done in a constitutional republic is to at least accord her the basic rights she is entitled to as a citizen. She has a right to know the findings against her and the reasons for her removal in a proper written and complete report, so she can avail herself of any remedies available. The point here is it possible that the Chief Justice has been removed and she doesn't have a written report of the reasons why she was removed?
Is that the case?
That is the question. Okay, because I am told that she didn't get a report in the prima facie case, so she couldn't properly, if she doesn't get that, she can't prepare her defense. She's entitled to that. She didn't get a written report of the reasons why she's moved. These are fundamental. And so that's why I read. If it is true, and I'm reading from what Honorable Ayikwe Otu published, please get it.
He sent that to me.
Good, so check. Is that true? If it is true, then we are making a bad mistake. And you see, that's why I say, if the new CJ Bafoboni, after all his work, is going to ascend onto this seat, let it not go under this cloud. That you remove, you understand what I'm saying? Can it be that you didn't give her the prima facie report, that you haven't given her a report of why she's been removed? Now the arguments that Oliver has just made, they are arguments. And like you said the last time, we had all kinds of arguments. I made a point here the last time that this table is not the Chief Justice, it's not the Supreme Court. So let that matter go before the justices, the lords of law, and let them determine it, because there is merit to it. So when you add the fact that
I thought you said there were precedents. We
argued the precedents last week. So for instance, so we've argued it. There were orbiters, and then Martin was able to show that Modibo actually spoke to it as a substantive issue. I was able to show that Article 146 Clause 2 says something which is directly opposite what Modibo said. So in law, we have something called per incuriam, where a judge makes a ruling that is directly in aberration with the law. So the issues are clearly there. Now, seeing that she has a cause and she has not exhausted the legal remedies available to her, and somewhere also I read something which is very important. This is the Chief Justice. If anybody has a moral responsibility to fight for what is right procedurally, it is her. You have a situation where people say, oh, they've removed her, she should just go home. No, I said last week, and I repeat, this fight is useful for us more than her. But for whatever it's worth, this is a career an illustrious career. You don't just get up and throw it into the dustbin. Give the woman at least what she is justly entitled to, and let her go through the processes and fight a case. There are about, I hear 4 cases pending on this matter. The determination of which can move this here, there. People think she's trying to come back as Chief Justice. I don't see how that is possible. All right? Okay. But the truth is that if there are 4 cases pending, look, Oliver, for instance, sued on these people who were, deported here. All of a sudden, I heard that they have been sent back. If there is a matter in court, and the matter hasn't been determined, and I don't know the facts, so you can tell me. But if it was in court, hasn't been determined, we haven't had finality and a judicial pronouncement of it, and then the executive just goes ahead and overreaches the matter, it is wrong.
And that's why we should ask the same question. The answer was that it was a process in motion, so it wasn't as though they were going to stay here.
But a judicial process holds things. He has the facts, so he can correct me with that. But where I'm going is that when somebody has a matter before a court, you hold your hand. And in a situation where this has to do with the courts themselves, a Chief Justice, it is a bit worrying to me that it's almost, ignored that she has matters in court. Again, we keep going back to the Demolovo case. We have a matter in court for 2 years, it's not heard, and then when it comes, we win the case, but then it's already moot. Okay, it is worrying. It is worrying, and I think we should do something about it. If you read the statement that they put out, okay, it casts a shade, and I think we should get rid of these things and then move forward with a clear mind.
I acknowledge what Niaiko, to the lead counsel for the former Chief Justice, Gertrude Torkornoo, has sent me. In fact, portions of which you have referenced. So I have that statement from Niaiko to he sent that to me as well. People, this,
maybe you should put him on the line.
Yeah, this decision, because of time, but this decision to seek this interpretation, the questions that the Attorney General is asking of the Supreme Court, would it settle the issues that Kofi Bento, for instance, raises, and what the counsel for the former Chief Justice is raising, specific to the entire process of whether or not she can still, or the warrant of removal affects both portfolios as a Justice of the Superior Court and a Chief Justice?
Yeah, okay. As for the removal affecting both, there is no doubt at all that it does. That one, there is no doubt. And that resolves most of the issues that have been raised. Because, you see, last week we repeat. The Supreme Court said in the Gertrude case that when you are removed as a Chief Justice, by implication, you are removed as a Supreme Court judge. That's page 804. We read it.
Yes.
Modibo saying it. And then you come to Datiban also making the point. Look, before Datiban made the point that your actions as a Chief Justice affect your actions too as a Supreme Court judge, what he first did was to pull out arguments that the plaintiff had made. And it was the plaintiff who argued that when you are removed as a Chief Justice, you are removed as a Supreme Court judge. It was the plaintiff. Let's read it for emphasis. So, Oliver, sorry, I have to.
We agreed last week.
Yes, because it's made, because that's what it involves. Oliver, I don't know if you paid attention to this. He said, and by all means, it's not possible.
About the 55?
Sorry, no, the point that the remover, you're saying that when it's obiter, and I'm saying no.
Okay.
At 2 points, I don't agree.
Okay.
No, this is page, if you go 773, okay, you see that Datiban he quoted verbatim the arguments that Gertrude made through Bedi Etuo and his father, right? He says, paragraph 12 says, the Constitution does not provide any separate and distinct grounds other than those set out in Article 146 Clause 1 for removing the Chief Justice, Chief Justice from office. Thus, under the Constitution, a Chief Justice cannot be removed as Chief Justice from office and remain on the bench as a Superior Court judge or as a Justice of the Superior Court. Let's repeat. It was a Gertrude who argued that thus, under the Constitution, a Chief Justice cannot be removed as a Chief Justice from office and remain on the bench as a justice of the Superior Court. That's paragraph 12, page 773, 774. So you see that the Supreme Court copied out their arguments and set out to answer. And that Eba said, look, your actions as a Chief Justice also affect your actions as a Supreme Court judge because of the ethics. We can read out that. So, Oliver, the point where you said that for you, when somebody is appointed as a Chief Justice, the office of Supreme Court judge is gone. That one, respectfully, I disagree. That's not how. No, because they say that you are a Chief Justice. Your actions as a Chief Justice also affect your ethics as a Supreme Court judge. Presumably, that Supreme Court judge office is still there.
So, any act that breaches the ethics in your capacity as a Supreme Court judge also affects that capacity as a Justice of the Superior Court.
Excellent. Yes, that's what the Supreme Court
they are two separate,
said.
and the removal process should be different.
My issue is a procedure now.
My issue is a procedure now. Was she giving the reports?
Yes.
That's a key issue.
So when it comes to that, let's read. Then Modibo said the Chief Justice upon his removal will by implication also lose his position as a judge. The Chief Justice upon his removal will by implication also lose his position as a judge. That's Modibo Okran at page 804. That's Justice Modibo Okran.
Put that on
and before he did so, this is what he says. He says, however, an interesting inferential question arises. Since the grounds for the removal of the Chief Justice are placed at par with the removal of the other justices of the Superior Court, can the Chief Justice continue to sit as an ordinary member of the Supreme Court after being removed as a Chief Justice?
There's an error there.
Suppose
it's not at par. That's where the error is.
Oh, well,
there are two different processes.
Well,
two different processes. It's a 1462. That's what I'm saying.
Suppose he or she was removed due to incompetence as an administrator.
It's a very different process.
But the person had a track record as a superb judge before being elevated to the position of Chief Justice.
A Chief Justice is not an administrative.
Let us say that he or she was simply a terrible administrator. Why cannot such a person come back to his regular Supreme Court position and continue with his outstanding judicial performance?
So, if a member of the bar is appointed as a Chief Justice, can the person sit on the Supreme Court?
Absolutely.
Yes. So the inherent in the Chief Justice is a judicial and administrative office. It's not separate. So it's not an administrative role alone. From the argument.
They're saying that.
No, but you are saying that.
Different.
That's what I'm saying. That the person is not removed. If you are removed as Chief Justice, you are removed in the administrative and judicial role. Not separate. That we should finish that one and come and remove you again as a judge.
Yes.
That's not. It can't be the case.
Exactly.
So they are separate offices. Once you are appointed to the Chief Justice, if you whatever you were before, you're no longer.
I know that one is
doesn't work.
Yes.
If they are separate offices,
yes,
and there are separate provisions made for them. Okay.
If they're separate offices, is the Chief Justice occupying two offices at the same time? No.
No. Give me one.
Ọdọfo wangasa wo hwe heated argument na ekoso wo eye studio honum na kese studio honum aye hyehyehye na case ekoso nti omo discuss nyina eye maami eye Gertrude Torkornoo a omenyi nefi akonya so as Chief Justice of the Republic of Ghana and also as the Justice of the Supreme Court of Ghana. Therefore, kese yede ebo baako ekum anoma mienu a kese maami na o se da bi onti ase ni buefu de nendi a we kuku case no edi akokota nsem na aidija Ghana fu nyina kan wasema me nso begini nyina brew ewo Ghanatube odofo di say ameno kase ne yesi 4 additional new cases and yes and so dia pim ye maame yesi sa 4 cases ni pende ye the 4 additional cases as and so dia pim ye maame biom ye maame de ne court case no nya de a ombeja ne de ombeja na chondo for we and breaking news about to jam begini nyina brew ewo Ghanatube mo refi say mobile like no subscribe no share no hit notification bell so man say the bear abrini abibia doctor content say ya wo oja ne tempa no watch me with for aha and I'm being sending a visit Ghanatube so makram nyina medam nyina sibebre